"Sir, if you could just take a seat, we'll get to you when we can," the nurse said without looking up, her tone clipped, distracted, mechanical. The emergency room was crowded, as usual, patients slumped in chairs, quiet groans, the smell of antiseptic and anxiety in the air. But this man? He didn't complain. He just stood there, still, calm, one hand gently pressed to his ribcage, the other hanging by his side. She glanced up once, saw an older man in worn boots, a flannel shirt, and jeans with a tear near the knee. No insurance info, no fuss, no drama. Her eyes moved past him to the next clipboard, but then he rolled up his sleeve. It wasn't a cry for attention. He was simply adjusting it to press gauze against his side. But that's when she saw it. Her pen fell from her hand before she realized. Coiled tightly around his forearm in ink that had faded but not lost meaning, was the unmistakable tattoo of a combat search and rescue unit. An eagle gripping arrows, wings stretched wide, and a set of coordinates tattooed beneath it. Not decorative, not trendy, earned. Her breath hitched, because that unit didn't just exist. It meant he had once parachuted into gunfire, into explosions, into chaos. Not to fight, but to pull people out. The most dangerous missions, the least glory, and the highest casualty rates. And he'd survived it. Suddenly, the flannel shirt wasn't just flannel. The boots weren't just scuffed. This man, this veteran, had bled in places she'd never pronounce, for people he'd never meet. She stood quickly, voice suddenly gentler. "Sir, please, come with me." He looked surprised. Not angry, just used to being overlooked. As she guided him back, she kept stealing glances at the coordinates on his arm. She knew enough to know they weren't random. Those numbers told a story. A location. Maybe where it all began. Maybe where it almost ended. Inside the triage room, he sat quietly. Still no complaints. She asked his name. "Thomas Reeve," he said. "Tom's fine." Blood pressure, elevated, breathing shallow, possible internal injury. She moved fast now, called in a doctor, prepped him for imaging. The attending physician walked in moments later, young, sharp, efficient. Gave Tom a cursory glance, then paused when he spotted the tattoo. His demeanor changed instantly. "You're with 160th SAW?" he asked, pointing to the small insignia beneath the eagle. Tom nodded once. The doctor stepped closer, this time with something almost like reverence in his voice. "My uncle was one of yours, said you guys were angels in the fire." Tom just smiled faintly. "We did our best." Word spread, quietly, respectfully. One of the residents returned with a bottle of water. Another nurse came in, eyes flicking once to the ink, and offered an extra blanket. Suddenly, he wasn't just another guy waiting in triage. He was someone who had waited, in jungles, in deserts, under enemy fire, for helicopters that he flew into hell. The initial scan confirmed it. 2 cracked ribs, one slightly displaced. It would have been painful just to breathe. But Tom hadn't once mentioned pain. Later, while changing out his IV, the nurse, still shaken by the moment she saw the tattoo, finally asked, "Why didn't you say something?" Tom looked at her, quiet for a moment. Then, "Because I didn't come here to be thanked. I came here to be treated like anyone else." She swallowed hard. "I was short with you," she admitted. "I saw your clothes, and made a snap call." He nodded slowly. "That happens. We all do it." "But I shouldn't have," she said, voice thick with remorse. Tom looked her in the eyes, steady and kind. "Then don't. Next time, just see the person. That's enough." Before he was discharged, a young boy entered the room with his mother, a patient from earlier. The boy stood nervously near the bed, then offered Tom a small crumpled thank you note. "Mum says you're a hero." Tom read it, eyes softening. "I'm just someone who showed up when it mattered." And that's the heart of it. Heroes don't always wear capes. Sometimes they walk into emergency rooms quietly, in worn boots and faded shirts, carrying years of unspoken stories inked onto their skin. Not for attention, not for validation, but as a reminder to themselves and sometimes to the world that they once stood between life and death for someone else. Before we end this story, let us know in the comment where in the world you are watching from. Every view helps these voices get heard. Support the story. Subscribe, like, and comment respect if it inspires you.